say, your costume is amazing. Forget it that you're the wrong skin type or the wrong, don't even say that, just you're amazing, you need to come out and show your stuff. If we build support from the ground up, we will be able to pull those other cosplayers in, and they will know that they are accepted, they are loved for the stuff that they do. We love their work and we want to see it out there.
I think it has to do, again, yeah, I'm gonna agree, the answer is yes. The issue comes in where I identify myself as a fat cosplayer. I've steadily doubled my body weight over the past 15 years of costuming. So I think I am on the smaller end of the large size scale. And I've noticed that I identify myself as a competition costumer. If you go to my website, you're not gonna find a lot of glossy photos of me in costume. You're gonna find very posed shots at a convention where I got it taken in the green room before I went on stage. And I've actually looked for photographers to start doing more of the cosplay photo shoot things, and can't find anybody to shoot me. And then I hear them saying, well, I'm not finding any cosplayers of size. And I'm like, well, I'm right here, hello. Where are you looking? Are you just looking at the people that come to you? Because those are gonna be 99% the girls who wanna be fashion models that are skinny, tall, white chicks. And we both need to make an effort to reach out to each other and meet in the middle and say, hey, this is where we are, this is what we do, this is how far you should come, and we'll make an effort. We're not saying you need to come out entirely and
just blanket photography.
Right, but I don't know, part of me feels a little bitter when I hear people say that, because I'm like, I've been doing this for 15 years. I've won 9 international competition awards, best in shows. I've won the past 2 World Cons. Why can't you find me? Why?
Yeah, I think that's my thing with it. You know, they claim that we're not out there, they're not looking. I just don't think that they're looking very hard, because you walk around, just walking around this con this weekend, I've seen so many amazing cosplayers, and I don't see them in the glossy pictures that are shared online all the time. I think it's because, you know, that the hobby shifting in that direction, and it's kind of almost shifting away from con floor to online. I think people just, you know, just wanting to shoot that image that they think will be shared and that will gain them notoriety, can lead to more jobs, whatever. In doing that, you know, they're ignoring, you know, a lot of the people who are already there. Because when I hear that, I do almost get bitter. And I'm like, where are you looking that you're not finding cosplayers of color and cosplayers who are plus size and male cosplayers, for example? A lot of times you hear that there aren't as many male cosplayers, and I've just seen tons, just here alone, who are just incredible. We had some incredible work in the cosplay contest yesterday. And I mean, if you're not finding these cosplayers, part of it is that, you know, you need to come to terms with the fact that they're not the ideal that you're looking for. They're not what you immediately think of. And so I do think, you know, us meeting in the middle, us bringing more people out, making it a more inclusive and just inviting environment for everyone to be in, and also those photographers being more willing to look outside of the boxes that they've, you know, have been thinking in all this time.
I think it, sorry, okay. I think it also has to do with, again, the cosplay culture, because you have this small subsect of people who want to be cosplay models. And they're trying to get photo shoots with the top photographers to get their image out there. And you have this subsect of photographers who are trying to be cosplay photographers, who are trying to get shoots with the top cosplay models out there to get their name out there. And they're all playing one-upsmanships on each other, and they're not seeing that they can reach to the people that are less experienced, or even outside of that sect of people that calls themselves a model, and learn to grow together. And maybe they're not the best models for photography, but you can teach each other and grow together and figure things out as you go along. And yeah, it takes effort, but you might gain a good friend along the way, so.
I agree. Okay. All right, I just have one last question, and we'll open up for some questions from the audience. We've talked a lot about a lot of the different issues in the cosplay community, both online and at the con, things like that. What are some things that you think we as a community can do better? I know we've talked on some things, but is there anything else, even just like the way we interact with each other on the floor, the way we interact with each other online? What do you think this community as a whole can do better to embrace more diversity?
I always hate the comments where you did really good, but.
Yeah.
Those are always the comments that just cut people down at the knees. I mean, I even did one recently where I saw this amazing Joffrey cosplayer, and I always wanted to do one of the whole I say this is a really good cosplayer, but I was like, I had to stop myself just because I was like, no, nobody wants to hear those kind of comments. You want to say the positive. You don't even say like, oh yeah, you're really good, except for whole this and this and this and this. It's like, no, the dissecting doesn't help. The only time you actually dissecting is, good is if you're getting, I actually like from a judge or someone who has. Yeah, it's their job to dissect the costume for you. It's like, okay, then you get the constructive criticism where it's like, okay, this is the reason we made this decision. If you want to improve, you need to do this, this, and this. Instead of, if you're just meeting someone on the hallway, it's like, oh, I love that costume, but why did you have that weird pink wig? It's like, well, no, this is the color. No, that's not right. It's like, so I think we need to get rid of the buts. Once we do that, then we're going to be, that'll help a lot. Just we will feel a more inclusive environment.
Because it's really easy to be in plain clothes and walk around a con and just critique little things on people. You don't know what happened in the hotel room this morning. You don't know if TSA broke that part of the costume and that's why they don't have it. You don't know, why they made the decisions that they made. You don't know something could have happened while at the con, and it's really easy to sit online and just dissect these pictures because you're like looking at it in high res, you're blurring it, you're zooming in, you're like, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. It's really easy to do that, but it's not easy to make a costume and it's not easy to put yourself out here, and I think people need to remember that.
Yeah, I really think that as people who cosplay and as people who like cosplay, you can go out and you can say, I really like that costume, or I really like that character, and you can give them just a little compliment, and that will make their day, and they will know that their hard work was appreciated. There are people who have put together costumes that have never sewn before, have never done anything like this before, maybe never even competed or even went outside their house in a costume before. And the fact that they are doing that, that deserves respect. Like, you need to go out there and you say, hey, great job on your costume, or hey, I really love that character, thanks for portraying that character.
I think we just need to be more open to everyone. I know that I have a tendency to be a little defensive, especially online. I think this last week, somebody put out this cool Tumblr meme about this Japanese cosplayer who's like in his 60s. Have you guys seen that? And
I don't know.
it's this series of pictures about this guy who cosplays in Japan. Everybody's like, everybody look at this picture. This is so cool. This guy is cosplaying and he's in his 60s. Isn't that awesome? And I'm sitting here, part of me is sitting here going, I know 30 of those that live here. Why are you going all the way to Japan? And and it's one of those gut reactions where I'm like, but my friends do that. And we gotta get over ourselves and be like, no, it's still cool, even though it's not my people. And be inclusive and be like, there can be more than one person in a costume, and that's okay. And start being more inviting and mentally making that decision like she said, to not critique, to not be exclusive, recognize it and shut it down. Because I'm not gonna say it's easy, we all do it. We all do. But not letting it pass your lips is important to making people feel more inclusive.
And I think that we need to be more accepting of, different skill levels. It is okay for someone to be a beginner cosplay. None of us just walk out onto the floor immediately just in a giant, perfectly done, perfectly made, just impeccable cosplay. Nobody starts there. Everybody makes little beginner mistakes. And it's okay for people to move up that ladder, but if we're just constantly, just shutting people out and nitpicking people to the point where, they're afraid to hit the floor, we're gonna start seeing less people because they don't feel like they're good enough to be judged by 1,000 just judgy eyes all the time.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing in again, celebrity cosplay culture. I was really good friends, still am really good friends, but I've been friends with Yaya Han for a long time. I know what her costumes look like when we both started, but now because of her celebrity mystique, you can't find those pictures anymore. And it's really easy to look at her portfolio and forget that she started out the same place you did. And I think that's really important for people to remember, that just because these cosplay celebrities have such good stuff doesn't mean that that's what they've always looked like.
And that reminded me, one of my favorite armor cosplayers is Kamui Cosplay. Yes, I adore her. And I also adore the fact that she chose a lot of her stuff that she did when she first started out. She has a great Sega Man costume, and it is like shiny satin, and you can see like the hems are fraying and stuff like that. It's like, that's where she started out at. And now I think she just won, was it Blizzard Con? And she won with her armor, like the entire costume contest. And it was just, it's insanely well done. And she's really great because she does all these tutorials and showed you how she got to where she is. And it's just, she feels very down to earth, and I love the fact that it's like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it too. It is possible. I will be there someday. And I love that kind of feeling.
I do too. When people do like Flashback Fridays and they post, their really old first cosplay, and it's like, this is really painful, but it's not gonna make your current cosplay any worse to, people to see your old ones.
And let's be honest, every one of us has at one point in time thrown a bed sheet over our shoulders or a towel
and called it a ghost.
Jumped off of things pretending like you can fly. That's where we started, is bed sheets and towels, and we just worked our way up to this, and everybody deserves that chance. Everybody deserves to be treated equally and say, hey, this is a really great costume, and they'll be like, oh, this is awesome. Next time I'm gonna try even harder, and I'm gonna try even bigger and better costumes, and I'm gonna challenge myself.
We have just about 10 minutes left. Do we have any questions in the audience? Yes.
Yeah.